So I've had people ask me what kind of stuff I do to train, control and stuff, beyond sparring, beyond doing solo drills. And short answer is, with single-handed sword, you are mainly focusing on strengthening your grip and your forearms, because that's where your power comes from. For the most part, it does come from shoulder and arm and stuff, but or shoulder and upper arm. But for the most part, that initial flick to get there is from your forearms. And so, how I train is I actually run through the basic attacks and parries with this iron bar, which weighs about 6 pounds. That's not necessarily for everyone. If you're starting out, you will probably just want to use the weapons that you're fighting with, because they are fairly light, and run through the attacks with them a bunch to first get them into muscle memory, and second, strengthen the muscles that are used for these motions effectively. So being able to take the weapon, this weight being, I think this is under a pound, or it's just over. It's really light. This being closer to 2 pounds, maybe a little bit over, and just being able to move it quickly and stop it is a big thing, and just getting your muscles able to do that. Then you can move up to playing with one of these, and you wouldn't believe how, after playing with this for just a few sessions of doing it, it makes this feel like it's like a child's plastic sword. It doesn't actually feel that heavy because you're used to being able to move this around. And being able to swing this with intent and stop it is just the most unreal feeling. And the other thing too is I train with my round shield here, which weighs 15 pounds. It is, or 14. It's overbuilt. It's pretty darn thick. It is planked, so it's not like it's super thick plywood or anything. But I would say it's close to 3/4 of an inch thick, or maybe 5/8. But it's really thick, planked. It's got 2 layers of canvas on the front and 1 layer on the back. A lot of glue, a lot of paint, the leather rim, the big heavy handle in the back, and a fairly thick boss. So all that weight adds up, and this thing is heavy, but I have to be able to fight with this. So I do different movements with the shield of this size, both arms, and both arms with this. That'll help later on when I go to learn, or go to be assessed for Florentine. It'll mean that I have the muscles already on this side to control this weapon properly before I even start. So yeah, I train both sides with this, and then I do something that I call the Berserk, which is essentially interval training with shield and weapons, and that's day 1. Day 2, I do another interval training, high intensity interval training workout, as sort of the cardio conditioning, as well as it's a little bit of body weight stuff and so that's going to help you be able to have the stamina to fight all day, and being able to have the raw power to be able to jump and crash into shield walls and basically just kick ass all day. So day 1 is the workout that I've come up with the weapons and the iron bar, and then day 2 is the interval training, which I'm trying to turn. I'm trying to change it up a little bit so that it's more fitting for Viking combat, or just medieval combat, compared to what I think it was designed for was boxing or something like that. But it's intense. You wouldn't think it is, but it just knocks you down. It only takes about maybe 20 minutes to get through the whole thing. or less than that, I think. But it just knocks you down. So there's no denying that it's doing something. This one, by the end of it, you feel the burn in all the right places for the muscles that you're working to be able to fight with these. And you know, if you overbuild a shield to train with, either sparring, maybe not necessarily sparring, but doing some sparring with it, doing solo drill with it, doing the training with the bar with it. If you overbuild one, make one really, really heavy, heavy enough that you can that it's a workout to use, but not heavy enough that you can't use it. Doing that, and then fighting with a lightweight shield, or going from swinging this heavy iron bar to swinging a sword which weighs less than half that. It's an amazing difference, and it really, really, really helps. Somebody that in my group I've sort of convinced to go along this experimentation process with me, and he noticed after, I think, doing the shield workout twice, he noticed that at the next event it was easier. It was easier to hold his shield up in the shield wall. It was easier to stop the shield from twisting in his hand in the shield wall. Solo fighting with it, he was able to actually keep up. So, well, better than he normally does, but he was able to actually not feel tired as quickly. So it definitely helps. Do I think that this is necessary for every reenactor? No, not really. There are people that I know that don't really do much physical training in this respect. All they do is they walk places, they bike places, they come out to practices and fight, and so they find they don't really need anything like this. But for me, the ability to fight really, really, really hard, like crashing into things and essentially doing a berserk constantly. The entire hour that you're on the field, and then not being so dead tired that you have to go take a nap or you can't move after, is very rewarding. Being able to fight that hard and not get tired is amazing, and also being able to run in chainmail, which I've done before. I was doing Zombies Run 5K trainer, wearing chainmail 1 day a week out of the 3. So that was pretty intense. But that one I would recommend to anybody that wants to start doing something like that. If you basically what happened with me is that over the last few years I've lost quite a bit of weight. So my body was used to being that heavy, so the extra 20 pounds of chainmail on it didn't make much of a difference. Another friend of mine was going the other way, where he was actually bulking up and everything, and then he tried to go for runs in his chainmail, and he ended up with shin splints and everything. But we've sort of determined that's just because his body wasn't used to moving with that extra weight, so his muscles and muscles and tendons and everything weren't really used to that strain, that shock. So they cause him problems. But for me, it doesn't, because I had that weight, and my muscles are still used to that, and my tendons are still used to that, and my tissues are still used to that. So if you're going to do that, work up to it slowly. Don't just go and do it unless you're really, really sure that your body can handle it. Even then, be very careful. Especially if you're running somewhere other than a gym. If you're running like down a trail or something, be really, really careful with it, because you do have that extra 20 pounds. So something that you normally do, you might not be able to do because of the extra weight. And if you get hurt, you still have to carry that 20 pounds out of there, or you ditch your Brinia, which you probably don't want to do. So yeah, that's basically how I train for this kind of thing. it scares people at the park sometimes. I get dirty looks all the time. And I don't really care. I usually have my membership card for Vikings Vinland. And I'm not doing anything illegal, so if somebody does call the police, then I just explain to them what I'm doing, and now they know that I exist. So it's not a big deal. And I don't really have, like, when I do things like that, I don't actually bring out a real weapon. That would be dumb. I do sometimes train in the park with this, with solo drills, but, you know, I bring the iron bar, the shield, and maybe one of the wooden wasters for the berserk part. But I don't threaten people. I just go and work out and mind my own business, and nobody really says anything about it. I would recommend, though, just in case, just go if you're going to do this in like a public park or something. Go at a time when there aren't that many people, or go just find a secluded spot in the park or something. It just saves trouble and whatever. And the other thing too is little kids will, if they see the shield, they'll run up to you and ask you a million questions about it. Which when I'm out sparring with somebody, I don't mind, because it is an interesting thing, and we can get interest for the group by talking to people and all that stuff. So that's not a problem. It's when I go to work out and I'm in that mood, that mindset of gotta be pumped, and I get a million questions, and it's kind of like, okay, I'm pumped to work out, and this stuff. So, yep. So yeah, it's I enjoy it, and I think, I think other people will too. I will hopefully be able to get a video of just the progression of it at some point. Maybe just do like a run through of what it is, if people are interested. If you are interested, comment below. Then I can know for sure if people are interested in seeing this kind of thing. Beyond that, I do recommend going through different motions with this. Even if you're doing a different style of combat, not just Viking, not just reenactment stuff, because you can go through the basic cuts with the sort of the Myers square kind of deal, where you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can do it with the bar. You can do it sitting down if you need to, and that's obviously after being comfortable with moving a weapon around. Yeah, so thank you for watching. Again, if you like what you see, don't hesitate to like and subscribe. And if you have any questions or comments, leave it below, especially if it is interest in seeing my workout, the way that it works. So, thank you very much.